I don't usually go for marine scents, but when I do, I go for this beast. Hello, welcome back to Seldomly Often. I'm Daniel. Today we're talking fragrances, and this is a practical review of Orto Parisi Megamare. These reviews are for fragrances I have a lot of experience with, multiple wears in many situations, and are meant to give you a general impression of what it feels like to wear the scent. As per usual, I do my fair research before buying scents, but I won't be going into details about notes and accords because I don't feel like it really serves the purpose, and in this case, it would be guesswork. Let's get straight into it. First of all, I want to tell you that I'm super excited to talk about Orto Parisi. It's one of my favorite brands. All their fragrances are complete bangers, and I really suggest you check them out. Megamare itself is one of the fragrances that is known to be incredibly beastly, incredibly long-lasting, and just huge projection and performance. Orto Parisi, the second brand by Alessandro Gualtieri, the nose behind Nasomatto. This is a reference to his grandfather, Mr. Parisi, and his vegetable garden. Given the experience with Orto Parisi and what I read about the brand, as I see it, it's a celebration of Italy. It's a celebration of the rural Italy, and in this case, Megamare, or like huge sea, is a celebration of the sea. It's an ode to the sea and everything about it, and the various versions and stages of the sea. All Orto Parisi are incredible storytelling fragrances. The way they transition, the complexity behind it, and the narrative behind each stage of the fragrance is absolutely incredible. And Megamare is one of them. So Megamare, as I mentioned, is mostly known for its potency. It's a fragrance that once you spray on, it stays there for a super long time. And you have to be careful of how much you spray on because it has a huge effect on how the fragrance is perceived. Getting into the presentation of Megamare, first of all, I want to talk about the boxes for Orto Parisi. These are beautiful origami style boxes that once opened, they kind of like unveil this fragrance at the center. Some say that the box, similar to what the name means in Spanish, reflects on anus. And Alessandro Gualtieri is very well known for his ironic references, to not be taken too seriously though. So back to Megamare, the bottle is in the style of all other Orto Parisi. It's a very elegant, clean bottle. I really like it. The liquid inside is this grayish green, which really kind of reflects the scent profile. The interesting part of the Orto Parisi fragrances is it comes in the cap. These caps are all different for each fragrance. Megamare has a cap that is this oxidated metal, as if the metal was sitting in the salty water for a while, and it has this like patina over it. It's super beautiful. The top of the Orto Parisi caps is also unique, and in this case it's like a mother of pearl medallion of some sort. Absolutely gorgeous. I think that these are true pieces of art in a bottle, and again, they're incredibly transportive to me, and they represent a slice of someone's experience and culture. So the scent profile for Megamare is incredibly interesting, very complex, and it really transitioned between the stages of the sea. Three in particular that I can pinpoint and that are very clear. So it's basically you get a story of what the sea is like. And upon opening, upon spraying this, you will be surprised, because if you read the reviews and if you read about this fragrance, you would expect a monster of a fragrance, like this deep, dense monster of a fragrance. But the opening is actually fresh. It's fresh and inviting. It's floral. It's sunny. It gives it tells about the story of the sea seeing from the shore on a sunny day. You get the sparkle from the water, and you get the smell of this vegetation that grows on the beaches and on the seashore, and you get this vivid, like crystalline color, and it's really airy, really fresh, and it's really, I was super surprised the first time I sprayed this, because I was like, oh wow, I was expecting something completely different and way darker. But it's crazy how this fragrance changes character really suddenly. So this fresh and floral part lasts about 30 minutes. Oh, by the way, I didn't spray this, and the atomizers on the bottles are super, super good. Let's spray this. Let's give it a spritz. Yeah, it's so fresh. Oh my God. So fresh, so floral, so inviting. And there is not much saltiness, but you still get that kind of a sea vibe. And as I was saying, this opening doesn't last that long. It lasts about, I would say, 30-ish minutes. And then the florals basically just die. They die completely, and the scent transitions to this deep marine vibe. So we're going, in a story sense, from telling about the sea on a beautiful blue sky. You could almost see it as like from just underneath the water, like how you see like the light shimmering. And suddenly you're just sucked in the water. You're just sucked deep down, and the scent becomes this like dark, dense, salty, just like heavy metallic scent. And it feels like you've been literally dragged under the water by some sea creature. And the scent immediately becomes, as I said, dark, but it takes on this animalic fishiness, I would say. Maybe it's the ambergris, maybe it's something else, but it's so heavy, and it's like you feel like you're in this pitch black sea level, like just deep down, and like compressed by pressure, compressed by the darkness. And it's like a stormy sea. Something is going on above you. It's like so dense and so dark, just dark clouds. And you're in this water almost suffocating. The scent in this case, it's too early to tell because I just sprayed this, but I'm trying to remind myself. In a similar way to how Oud Mineral describes like a stormy sea, this takes that concept, removes all the sweetness from the wood or the amber, and just holds on to like the metallicness, the minerality, the saltiness, and a feeling of depth, like layers in the scent. And here the scent becomes a little bit synthetic, and it's harsh. It's a little bit harsh. To me, it's harsh in an interesting way. But it is objectively way different from the opening. It's completely different. It's incredible how a scent can change this much. As I mentioned in the beginning, this scent has an incredible long-lasting performance, like super, super duper long. And this deep sea stage is one of the longer lasting ones. This will take the good part of 5 to 6 hours. And it's already kind of coming through. I recognize it because I've worn this a lot. And after that, probably something like the next day or like in the end of the day, the scent resurfaces in a way. We're now in a dock and there's like fishing boats, and the storm has passed, so there isn't that like deep oppressing presence, but we get this like lulling and calling sea that's like going against the dock, and you get this dock smell. So it is very salty, like super salty, kind of fishy, and this like you get this like lingering like algae tinge, like very kind of like a vegetal algae that's very salty, almost rancid in a way. But it really gives the imagery of a dock and like maybe like fishing boats offloading some fish. It sounds horrible as a smell, but it's really interesting. And again, out of context, for someone from the outside smelling you, they would never think of this, because as I mentioned many times, we are biased by the marketing. We are biased by what is said about the scent, and my imagination is driven by the fact that I've worn this multiple times in a very analytical way, and I reference each stage compared to the previous one. So out of nowhere, you could smell a little bit funky in the third stage, but it's a funkiness that it doesn't necessarily come off as bad. It's just rugged. As I also mentioned at the beginning, I feel that the dosage for this scent is incredibly important. A lot of the negative reviews for this fragrance and a lot of the negative feelings I feel come from people just overspraying. And overspraying takes away from the poetry of the change of the scent and just completely overwhelms you. Initially, I mentioned that the dosage for this fragrance is very, very important. So I feel that a lot of the negativity behind the scent profile for this is partially due to how artistic it is and how this is almost not designed to be a perfume in a way, because it's just so realistic and just so unapologetic. But a lot of it has to do with people just overspraying this. So this one here, as I mentioned, is super long lasting and projects like a monster. So what happens is that if you spray a lot of it, the deep sea stage, and especially the port stage, like the resurfacing of it, can be completely overwhelming. To the user, it can completely choke you out, but especially to others, it can smell rancid and salty and weird to a very strong degree. And I really do not recommend overspraying this, because you're not going to be able to get it off, ever. This thing comes off after 18 hours plus, and you have to take a shower or multiple showers. This thing is a huge commitment to wear, so you have to get to know it in small doses. You spray a light spritz once and you see how the scent evolves, and then you kind of like test it around, and maybe you add a second spray, and then you keep it at 2 sprays because it's like way too much. Could this be your signature scent? I don't know. I think that if you go light on the sprays, it could, but it might get old just because it's such a powerful and involving experience that it could be fatiguing. I love this to death, but I still have to be in the mood for it. It's not every day that I can just like grab Megamare and just dose myself in it, just because it's fatiguing in a way. And all good art, I feel that all good concepts that get you thinking and that get your imagination going can be fatiguing, and you have to dose them. And this I think that is common in all really good art forms, and I truly think that Alessandro Guartieri is an artist. He is an artist in the marketing, he is an artist in the communication, he is an artist that grabbing concepts and materializing them. The cool thing about Orto Parisi is that no two fragrances smell alike. They do have the Gualtieri DNA, but you really have to have a lot of his fragrance to realize that, especially like the oudi ones. But they all smell different, but somehow they're all fit in the same theme, and they're really, really interesting and super long lasting. I didn't mention that these are all extrait, and 50 milliliter will last you a lifetime on this. So if you're interested in exploring different fragrances here, if you're interested in fragrances in general, you appreciate the art of fragrances, to me, this is a 10 out of 10. It's amazing. I love it. Highly recommended. This is an absolute wild ride of a scent. Thanks again for watching. I love doing this stuff. I appreciate all the comments, all the appreciation. Please feel free to reach down in the comments for anything else, any suggestions. Do you want to see a specific scent? Do you want to see a specific type of comment? I'm all ears, and I'm happy to reply. Thanks again, and cheers.